Part 2 of this tutorial for colouring a primrose design. I want to look at this flower. On the previous tutorial, part of this tutorial, we did this flower, and that flower, that's the back that's facing upwards, so it will be darker. But with this one, it's going to be lighter on the front as the light is going to hit it across that way. Now, as I normally do, I mark out my sections where I feel my light is going to be and my dark is going to be. So let's look at my lilac, which is my lighter colour, and I'm going to put in where I feel the light is. Now, with this front facing flower, you have a cut off here for your yellow section, so you can colour your lilac right up to that. I'm going to cover all of these in the lightest colour. Again, in the light pressure, I want to add to this. Quite pretty flowers, these primroses. Quite delicate looking. Mine are probably more vibrant than the original example of this, but again, that's because I'm using pencil, not paint, in different shades. Probably won't be able to see that very well, the colours, because it's, it's a light layer. So just give me an idea where I want to shade. Now, this flower here may well be casting a slight shadow over this flower. So I'm going to put a little bit of shading on there, a little bit of shadow, but the rest of the shading for that is going to be at the bottom. Here I'm going to shadow around the bottom of this petal, and here is the overlap, so I'm going to put that in now. There we go, a little bit of overlap there. Now I'm going to put my darker section there, overlap for this petal. Doesn't have to be exact. I mean, it's how you may see the where the light is, but it's a bit of fun. Now, as this petal is going round, it's going to be going away a little bit, I feel, from the sun, just slightly. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadow on this side. So same with here, a little bit of shadow on this end, overlap, edging of the yellow, shadow, and a little bit of shadow there because it's furthest away. There's not so much overlap on this one. I'm just going to do most of that there. Now the sun might catch the top of this flower here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow here. Build it up. It's kind of fun working these out. Maybe I'll just feather that in a little bit. Shadow around the yellow bit, and not so much shadow there because the sun will be coming in here, so slightly thinner, just to show a crease. Same with this section here, it's just like a little crease, that petal. A little bit of a shadow on there. Now that's looking quite interesting already. I mean, again, we're going to be building these up. I'm going to go to the yellow section now, and I'm just going to colour, apart from this piece here, I'm going to colour all of that over in the lightest yellow. That section in the middle is going to be more of a brown. It's not exact, it's a bit scruffy, it'll do, it's just to give you an idea where your colours go. Now I want to do these sections here in the darkest yellow that I'm using. Light pressure. Right, so these sections here look like they will be darker, so I'm going to just go over those lightly with the darkest yellow I've got. I'm using. Looks interesting, a little bit of depth there. I'm using those lines as a guide. I often do that with designs. If there's lines, quite often I use those as a shadow guideline. Now I'm going to use the brown that I did earlier on the other petal for the darker shadow. I'm going to use that brown for this. Now, there's a little bit here, not quite sure if you can see it on the camera, and it's almost like it's a lighter highlight, so I'm going to put that in yellow and do the rest in brown. There you go. So it's a highlight in the section of the middle. Now these parts here are these middle sections of the middle of the flower. I want to darken them just like the purple darkens this section. So I'm going to do that in brown to darken those sections. Again, gives a little bit of depth. So that's the first layer for this flower. I've now added 4 layers on all of this flower, the middle parts and all the petals. So at this point I want to go and look at darkening some of the shadows with my brown, just like I did on the first flower. And it's just light pressure. I don't want it to be too dark. Just darkens it up a little bit, adds a little bit more interest and depth. This brown works really nice with the purple. Purple's actually quite a good colour for shading other colours as well. I often use purple for shading. Rather than black. Sometimes I find black a little bit too dark for me. Again, that's a personal choice. I know lots of people that use black. Right, starting to look interesting. It's a little bit darker, subtle, as these flowers I want to look delicate. Another reason I think black wouldn't work for shading here, because it'd be too dark and for a delicate flower or a delicate effect. Let's go over the shading here. I think I'll go over these sections as well in just a touch of brown. If you don't feel that it's dark enough for you when you do your shading, just gently go over it again. I think I need a little bit more on there. You can add colour, but you can't take it away, so subtle, subtle light layers. Now I want to try doing a light layer of blending with the white pencil. Again, it's a light pressure because I want to be able to add more colours and layers onto this. Just want to see how it's working out at this stage. It takes away some of that patchiness as well. Try and use circular motions to push that colour around and soften the sections. These are a nice, reasonable quality Stewart grey pencil. The art is pigmented as obviously the artist's grey pencils, but they're okay if you're working on a budget. Well, that's softened it up quite nicely for now. However, I do think it needs a couple more layers, which I'll do. I've done a couple more layers on this petal in the different sections with the different colours. I'm going to do my final blending in, and at this point I'm going to be leaning on harder so it will burnish the project, just to do that final blending in. Softens it up a little bit as well. Again, this is personal choice, you don't have to do this. I just like the effect. Also, don't be concerned if your flowers, if you're doing flowers, the same kind of flowers in a project, don't be concerned if they don't all look quite the same. Because in real life, flowers don't all look the same. Every flower is slightly different, so it adds a little bit of realism to a project, and that's fine, you know, if it's a slightly darker colour, a slightly lighter colour. And that looks, you know, more interesting. And that's that flower finished. And the end of the part 2 of this tutorial. The next time, the next part, I will do a leaf and see how that works with your sun, the light, you know, if it's facing behind, and we'll do a couple of leaves next time.